All right, man, peace. So, boxing great Floyd Mayweather teased the fight fans at first when he was building up his fight with Conor McGregor in the boxing ring by alleging that after the boxing match that he would rematch Conor McGregor in the MMA octagon. No one really took it seriously, but Mayweather himself seems to be taking it seriously because he filmed himself in a very short snippet stepping into the octagon and appearing to challenge Conor McGregor. Of course, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
Floyd Mayweather steps in the MMA cage and seemingly challenges Conor McGregor, and it's all in video. Welcome to TMZ Sports Avenue with Van and Michael J. Babcock.
What up?
Let me say this. I believe that this fight is going to happen. For whatever reason, Floyd Mayweather wants to take on Conor McGregor in the octagon. I don't think that Floyd Mayweather gets as much credit as he deserves for some of the challenges that he puts forth. When he states that he is the past, present, and future of sports and entertainment, and when he states that he is the king of all fighters, not just the boxing world, and he's been saying that for many years, he truly believes it. And one must understand that there is a certain amount of insanity that a man has to have to engage in combat with another man who is training for 4 hours a day, 365 days a year, damn near. When you get to the elite level, most of these pugilists are training every day. They might not be training for like they would for a fight, but they're doing something every day. And when they're building up for a professional fight, they're training somewhere between 4 to 6, maybe even 7 hours a day for 8 to 9 weeks. Now Mayweather seems to be flirting with the idea of facing Conor McGregor, one of the top performers in his field, that being mixed martial arts. For him to do what he's doing, I have to believe that he's starting to build up some type of clamor for this match. And we'll see.
We got a huge show today. I'm talking like a former NFL star, a big star, says he's down to play in the XFL, but his criminal past might come into play. Plus, Ricky Williams is going to be here to tell us about his marijuana Super Bowl fiesta.
I want to hear about that.
You don't want to miss this. But we're going to start with that video I was talking about. Floyd Mayweather at a gym in Las Vegas on Monday, getting into an MMA cage in what seems like a video to bait Conor McGregor to fight.
I don't think that the video was to bait Conor McGregor. He doesn't need to bait Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor's already on record as stating that he'd be willing to rematch Floyd in a boxing ring. So there would be no bait involved in Floyd trying to get Conor in an octagon. If Conor believed that Floyd was serious about facing him in an octagon, all he would need to know is where and when. And I'm sure he'd be making almost as much money as he made in the last fight, and he'd be much more eager to sign the contract because Conor would believe, and justifiably so, that he would have the upper hand in the octagon.
To fight him again. Take a look. Yeah, I mean, look, we don't really see him training, but he's in an MMA gym.
Floyd looked like somebody's son just stepped out the shower. He need to go put some sweatpants on.
Gym in Las Vegas. Babcock, tell us what you know about this.
Yeah, this place called Syndicate MMA in Vegas. Like you say, a lot of legitimate people train there. Forrest Griffin, who's a Hall of Famer. But Floyd rented out this gym all to himself yesterday morning, had it for a while, and they're being very secretive about just what exactly he was doing while he was in the gym.
Did he train with an MMA fighter? Were they teaching him like how to fight MMA?
Listen, they have a lot of trainers there. They really are being tight-lipped. They would allude to things. They would say there's some exciting news coming, but they wouldn't say exactly what he was working on.
So here's why this is a big deal, because after Conor and Floyd boxed last year, you know, there are a lot of people, including Conor McGregor, who said, I want to have a real fight with you. I want to fight you in the UFC octagon. If we do this MMA, I would smash you in 2 minutes. And Floyd Mayweather was kind of like, well, maybe I'll do it.
Yeah.
He didn't really say maybe he'd do it. He promised that he would do it. When you watch some of their press conferences to build up their original bout last year, he stated point blank that he would fight Conor McGregor in an octagon. No one really took it seriously because we all took it as build up for the fight. But me personally, I looked at it as a possibility because I know how Mayweather is. When he says something, he might take it back, but when he says it, normally at the time that he says it, he means it. Now the thing with Floyd is that Floyd can be very tempestuous, so he can change up. But for the most part, Floyd does not make void statements. He doesn't make blank statements with no direct intent. He'll normally say something that he means, even if he may only mean it at the time. So for him to say that he would challenge Conor McGregor in the octagon, was I shocked to see that he stepped into an octagon in an attempt to, to initiate some type of build-up for an upcoming mixed martial arts fight with Conor? No, it didn't. It didn't shock me.
Yeah, listen, I got to be honest with you. I had a conversation around lunchtime here with a guy who says Floyd Mayweather's manager, Leonard Elby, told him that there was a major, gigantic announcement coming.
Really?
Wow. Impending, going to be made in New York in the coming weeks. I think that all signs are pointing towards the fact that these guys are going to meet up for another.
Well, here's the thing. Sources close to Floyd have told us that he made somewhere between $300 and $400 million from the Conor McGregor boxing match.
Right.
Conor McGregor made reportedly around $100 million for that fight, right?
Right. Yeah.
So look, if they fight again in the boxing ring, they probably won't make that much, but they'll probably make, even if they make half, that's still a huge win for both of these guys.
And it would be an even huger win if somehow Mayweather were to win that match. Imagine if Floyd Mayweather would have beat Conor McGregor in an MMA match. Then he could market himself as the greatest athlete of all time. To have crossed over into another pugilistic venue, another pugilistic world, and defeat, if not their best practitioner, because I think that for the most part, people believe that Demetrius Johnson is their best practitioner. I mean, especially since John Jones is gone. People pretty much just look at Conor as the number one gate attraction. But if we were to talk about who the best practitioner is in MMA, I think that the consensus would be that Demetrius Johnson is number one. But anyway, even if Floyd were to beat Conor, it would go a long way in building up Floyd's own brand and also building up his ego. Floyd has an insatiable ego.
Right. If they get into the octagon and they fight with MMA rules, even if it's amended MMA rules where maybe you can't go all the way down to the ground and choke each other out, but if you can use leg strikes and knees and stuff like that, I think people would still watch that anyway because they feel like Conor would have more of a chance.
No, I think they definitely watch. I think the whole world tunes in because the chances are that Floyd Mayweather would lose that fight.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I've said this before, particularly when it comes to world-class fighters. History shows that 99.9% of world-class fighters, they leave with losses. And they normally leave with devastating losses. It's extremely difficult for a world-class, all-time great fighter to leave, with never having lost, with always feeling like he's the number one. Most great competitors, you have to prove to them that they cannot perform anymore. That's why Kobe Bryant had to be shown that he couldn't play anymore. That's why Michael Jordan had to be shown. Muhammad Ali had to get his ass whooped by Larry Holmes and Trevor Berbick. These things have to happen to all-time great practitioners in their field, in their sport, so that they can go home peacefully and know that they didn't leave anything on the courts or in the ring or on the field. That's normally how it goes.
Yeah.
And I think that people, a lot
You
of
wanna see Floyd lose.
Yeah, they've been watching, trying to see if he slips up, but they're going to want to see it this time because he probably would.
Yeah, well, Conor McGregor responded to the video of Floyd in the ring. He said, quote, "Ha ha ha, very good. Keep up the good work, my son. Yours sincerely, Senior."
Wow.
Interesting.
I'm telling you, before the boxing match happened, there was a point where I started to feel like this was gonna happen. I feel like I'm at that point right
I'm
now.
at 100%.
Right?
100% this is happening.
Yeah, by the
Absolutely. For him to do that, for him to step into the octagon, that to me is a sign that they're close. Floyd has already told Leonard Ellerbe and Al Heyman make the fight happen. It's not a matter of them trying to sell it to him like how they were trying to sell him on fighting Conor for about a year and a half or so before he finally said, okay, let's do it. And then he started to push it himself. And thereafter, Conor kind of reeled back like, wow, he's really serious about fighting me in a boxing ring. See, it was one thing to talk a bunch of shit about Floyd from the octagon, from the MMA world. That was a promotional technique, and a very good one that was created by Dana White to help promote many of his top fighters like Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor. All we could beat Floyd Mayweather. Well, Dana White was actually able to create a champion who would be a viable candidate to fight Floyd because of his flash, his style, the fact that he was actually winning, and his ability to sell fights, his panache, his charisma, that being Conor McGregor. So Floyd flipped it on them and challenged Conor. So Conor was taken aback at first. He might deny it, but I'm sure that he was taken aback until he realized that he was in a no-lose situation. He could get 9 figures to get his ass whooped by Floyd Mayweather. Who else could say that? Who wouldn't take an ass whooping for 9 figures? And now Floyd seems to be willing to do the same thing. We'll see.
By the way, we asked Oscar De La Hoya, who's fought against Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd looks like he's in pretty decent shape right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Oscar De La Hoya. We said, look, man, you fought against Floyd Mayweather. How do you think he would do in an MMA fight? And this is what Oscar had to say.
How do you think Floyd would do in an MMA? Tapped out in 10 seconds. You don't think he would last past like the first round?
Yeah, I know.
No, Floyd would not last past 1 round. I would last many rounds with Conor if he'd give me a chance. I don't think he swings that way, though.
No, he thinks it would be a very quick work.
Look, it probably would be, depending on the rules. I couldn't see Floyd knowing what he was doing on the ground. But it's all striking. Maybe he could have a chance to kind of, do his little situation.
If Floyd's going to step in the ring with Conor McGregor, he can't put too many limitations on what Conor can do. Either you're going to fight MMA or don't fight MMA. Don't get in the ring talking about you can't grapple me, you can only kick above the waist, all that nonsense.
Let's get serious. Conor McGregor would murder Floyd Mayweather. He would murder him. If Conor could use his legs and he could get in there and it wasn't just punching, he would murder Floyd Mayweather. It would be a first-round knockout.
Well, you also thought that Conor would beat Floyd in the first fight.
That's not entirely true.
No, you were just hoping that he would beat Floyd in the first fight because you're a simp. But anybody with half a brain knew that was not going to happen. Floyd on his worst day would wipe out Conor McGregor. He carried him for most of the fight. But I truly hope that Floyd is not going to fight Conor McGregor in an MMA fight. I don't think it does anything for him other than add money into his pockets. And he's not hurting for cash, I'm sure. So if he's just doing this because he's an action junkie, or maybe he needs to do this. Maybe he needs some closure to his pugilistic career. Maybe this is what he needs to feel like, okay, I've done it all. I can sit my ass down now.
That's entirely true.
But anyway, peace.